Hi, my name is Tabitha, and I'd like to share with you today why I believe St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is a worthy cause and deserves your donations. Imagine a child that you know and love. It could be a niece, a nephew, a son, a daughter, a goddaughter, a godson, falls while riding their bicycle. They have an unusually difficult time recovering from their injury. Further diagnostic testing reveals that this young person, just in the very beginning of their life, actually has cancer. Thousands of families face this diagnosis every year. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital stands out amid other charities, offering a unique program to these families in crisis. Their research has changed the face of childhood cancer worldwide, and they remain dedicated to ridding the world of childhood cancer and caring for families while doing it. They are constantly investing in research and finding a cure. St. Jude was founded in 1962 by Danny Thomas. He actually prayed to the patron saint of hopeless causes, St. Jude, that if he were successful, he would build a shrine. Well, he was successful and rallied a group of businessmen with him in Memphis, Tennessee, to build his shrine, which would become the hospital for hopeless causes, children who had received what at that time was almost a fatal diagnosis. After spending time researching this charity, their work, and their mission, I am excited to share with you why supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is a worthy cause. Donating to St. Jude is worthy because many families have been touched by childhood cancer. St. Jude is funded mostly by private donors, and their programs allow families to live as normal lives as possible while furthering research and finding new treatments. I would first like to share some interesting facts about the occurrence of childhood cancer and the opinions that were shared with me during the audience survey. According to the survey completed, 71% of respondents had themselves had experience with childhood cancer or known someone who did. This isn't surprising when we look at the overall statistics. Childhood cancer is not just a sad story that we hear about. According to CureSearch.org, during your day-to-day, 43 children in the United States will receive a cancer diagnosis, and 479 will worldwide. The Surveillance, Epidemiology, and End Route Program, or SEER, found that in 2015, approximately 19 children for every 100,000 in the United States were diagnosed with cancer. Total diagnoses in the year can result in 15,270. And childhood cancer still remains the #1 cause of death by disease in children. 100% of the survey respondents also stated that eradicating cancer is very important or somewhat important to them in children. According to the National Health Institute, childhood cancer incident rates are actually on the rise, but thanks to research, our survival rates are actually getting better. They also state that in the mid-1970s, we were looking at a survival rate of 58% for children in a 5-year span, and now that 5-year survival rate is up to 83.4%. Continued improvements are obviously needed for treatments to allow that to grow. Authors Chi and Evans, in their article, 50-Year Journey to Cure Childhood Acute Lymphoblastic Leukemia, or ALL, talked about how St. Jude's research actually allowed that particular disease that was once basically fatal and to become a cure rate in 2013 of 90%, and now St. Jude reports that it's closer to 94%. It's easy to see why this charity is a much-needed institution, but its continued existence truly depends on the generosity of everyday people like you and me. 75% of the funds needed to operate St. Jude on a daily basis come from private donors, and they run their programs and their research mostly on these donations. And of course, knowledge of where these funds are going to go is very important to our survey. 71% said they were very likely to donate if they knew where their donations were going. St. Jude has a 91.04% rating on Charity Navigator, which is a site that rates charities based on their financials as well as their accountability and transparency, meaning that they do score very, very well. They give them 4 out of 4 stars. From St. Jude's financial records, 72.7% of every dollar donated to St. Jude goes directly back into their programs, whether it's through research or taking care of their families. And their accountability and transparency score in particular is at 100%, meaning you can be confident to know what your funds are using for if you donate to them. There are also different avenues to raise funds. You don't have to just donate. You can volunteer your time if you're someone who's local or you're in Memphis, Tennessee. And you could also run in St. Jude Marathon or other rock and roll marathons throughout the country, and St. Jude sponsors many other events throughout the year. What I just shared are just some of the basics of what donating for St. Jude does. But I would also like to paint a clearer picture on what it means to be a family at St. Jude and why continuing to report them remains so necessary. Families in a time of crisis can live as close to normal lives as possible. Donations assist in finding new treatments, future cures, and an increased survival rate, but also in taking care of these families. One major part of St. Jude is that families will never receive a bill from them. They focus on letting the kids be kids and the families be families. It means that the kids don't have to worry and the parents don't have to worry about anything other than the kids getting better. They still celebrate birthdays, they go to school, they have dances, and meals and shelter are provided for them during their time of treatment. I'd like to share with you quickly Cameron. He's 9 years old, he has brain cancer, and a quote from his dad. He said that they got a break to come home for Christmas, which was unexpected. They were excited about going home, and they're a close-knit family and not used to being apart. But when they got home, Cameron and I both had a feeling of anxiety because St. Jude is magical. The level of care is so outstanding, we felt safer at St. Jude than in their own home. Of course, continuing their mission on this increased survival rate means kids like Cameron have a better chance of surviving, and St. Jude's commitment is that no child has to die from childhood cancer. And that means that they are willing to share their discoveries across institutions. So they don't just keep that information to themselves. It means that a child with cancer can be treated with a St. Jude treatment at other hospitals as well. As you can see, money doesn't just support research for a cure, but it makes a difference in lives of families through an extremely difficult time. Take a moment and visit stjude.org to see how you can help this research hospital further its work. Whether it's donating your own personal money, working with your employer to possibly do a donation match, or even making your own fundraiser, there are numerous ways that you can make a difference. You never know when you or someone you love has to benefit from this life-saving research and advanced treatments funded by someone just like you. So let's join St. Jude on their mission so that no other child has to die from cancer.